Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Marvin Fuentes, the founder of Fowntin AI, and we're helping businesses operate smarter, automate the boring stuff, and scale with intention. Today, I am joined by Tim, and we're diving deep into his journey, the wins, the lessons, and what's next. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do, Tim?
Yeah, so I have a roofing company and a GC company and another roofing company and a franchise company and some real estate companies. So company-wise, that's me. I'm kind of crazy. I also have 5 kids, all 5 and under. So I do things hard. Either I go all the way with things and just do things to the max, or I don't do it at all. So like when it comes to having kids, I'm like, all right, cool. We'll just have them all back to back, boom, 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 boom. And we were like, let's have 3. And then we were just like, no, just keep going, whatever. Like we got money, so whatever, just keep going. So, just keep cranking out kids, which is great because right now they're sending a lot of my workers back out of the country. So I've got to find a workforce somehow, right? So just keep making kids. They'll work. The other thing is like company wise. So basically, like a little background, I guess, is the Perkins Roofing brand got started in 1980 by my father-in-law. So he started the business back in 1980. He had a partner back in 1980, and then they had like a falling out. So he just kind of rechanged the brand, the name to just be Perkins Roofing back in 1990 in Miami. And then I ended up coming into the picture back in 2013, 2014 time range, and just started working for him because I was a teacher. So like I have a journalism degree, a bachelor's journalism degree from the University of Missouri and a master's degree in education. And so I was teaching and I also had a ton of student loan debt. And I was like, hey, I'm poor. I need to pay off these student loans. Can I come work for your dad? Like I asked my girlfriend at the time during the summers when I'm not working. And so that's how I got started roofing basically. And instead of coming back to the shop and drinking Coronas at the end of the day, like the guys did, I just kept working. I was like, hey, show me how this business works. And I just kind of like started digging into things and trying to figure out the business and ways to improve the business. So I kind of like made myself a job where like I just came in and started like improving operations and to a point and like making things futuristic, right? Like using the cloud, like things that like a lot of like boomers didn't do. And I basically just made myself a job where he couldn't get rid of me because if he did, when I was supposed to go back and teach again, like it would have been a major issue. So I basically created my own job running operations for Perkins Roofing. And then just, after about a year, I told him to go home. I was like, just let me make you money, go home. You're getting in my way. And just kept growing the business and then eventually bought the business from him and expanded it out. That's some of the background about how we got started. And then kept expanding, I next the business a few years in. And after I did that, I kind of got bored. And so I created a second office that had zero business. And then I was like, okay, let's see if I can do this in a whole new location then. So then I did that and then kind of got bored. So I made the GC company so I could learn new stuff and start doing more stuff. So then we started doing impact windows and doors and concrete restoration, kitchens, bathrooms, you name it, we do it. High-rise concrete restoration. So started doing some of that stuff, and then started the franchise business because of all my roofing systems. So like once the second branch in Palm Beach was successful, I was like, okay, our systems work. It's not just like a one-off in Miami. I can go into a completely new market and make millions of dollars from the get-go, like just a few months in, making a new branch because that's how good my systems are. And so then that's why I franchised. And there are not many roofing franchises. There's like less than 10 in the whole country. And we're pretty fresh. Like I just did the FTDs. So right now I have 0 franchisees under our brand, but I am in communications with some people who are interested. So we'll see when I get my first franchisee down. But that's kind of the franchise route right now. I'm trying to avoid like franchising is a whole beast. I'm trying to avoid playing into the game because there's this whole game where like basically consultants and brokers for franchises, they want you to sign up a recurring service fee just to get into their catalog. And then you have to wine and dine the brokers and it's all this like crazy crap. And I'm just trying to avoid getting into like this, like I don't do PPC, for instance, like I do 0 PPC for advertising. So like I'm trying to avoid getting into that kind of advertising for the franchise stuff and just doing it based on my YouTube videos and just like talking to people and networking in person with people and be like, hey, you want to make a lot of money? You can do it by roofing with me. You could probably make like $1 million pretty easy doing it. If you want, I can teach you. and the systems work, I started a whole new branch with zero customers and was making millions of dollars within a few months. So like if I can do it, you can do it, or at least you can be 80% of what I do at the very least. So, that's kind of like my go-to right now is trying to figure out back ending because I don't the way that franchising works, you don't really understand until you get into it. But it's like pharmaceutical sales. It's a whole game where you've got to wine and dine people and you've got to get them to promote your brand. And there's a million different franchises out there. And I'm just trying to stay out of that and do it my own way, which is usually what I do. I usually am like, I want to do this, and I just bulldog my way into it, and I do it my way. And I don't care how other people are doing things. I do things my way. And me doing that has been very successful to this point in life. So why change it?
What inspired you to start or, well, join the business? I know you mentioned a little bit about it, but is there a specific reason on to like made you take that leap?
It's kind of funny. So basically, I thought it's just a summer job, right? And then I was just like, well, yeah, I'm just gonna help my father-in-law. I'm not gonna sit here and just screw around. Like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do things right. I'm gonna like make things better. I don't like to just come in and like clock in and take someone's money. Like I'm the type that like I get bored easily, so like I need to continually improve and grow myself. And like whatever I'm doing, I want to build things. I don't want to just sit there and be a part of something that's already existing. Like I'm not the type to just jump on a moving train, right? Like I'm gonna be the frickin' driving the train. If someone's driving the train, it's gonna be me. I'm gonna be taking part in moving this train along. So when I got in and it was just a summer job, I wasn't like trying, like even though I kind of joke, I'm like, yeah, I made myself a job. Like that wasn't my goal. Like I fully expected to go back to teaching after that year. And then there was a point where like is a week before I was supposed to start teaching again, and like I was gonna be a football coach for this school, and I kind of screwed him. But it is what it is. So I was supposed to be like one of the assistant football coaches, and like we were already doing like weight training stuff and all this stuff. And then they were like, my father-in-law was like, "Hey, you can't leave. You have to stay." And I was like, "Well, then you have to pay me way more than I'm going to make as a teacher to make it worth my time." And so we had that discussion like 1 week before the school year started, and my parents were out of the country, so I didn't like back then I was like 24 or whatever. I was like a kid, right? So I'm like, what do I like? I was like, who should I call and make sure this is a good idea? Because I went to school and like I'm like 100 grand in debt now to get this teaching license, and I've only done it for 1 year, and I'm gonna like just give up on it after 1 year after like all this money. And like my parents were out of the country, I couldn't even call them, so I was like, you know what, screw it, whatever. So I did it. And then when they came back, they're like, "Oh, you're an idiot." They're like, "Roofing, like you're a dummy. Like you spent all this money going to college and you're gonna be in construction. Like you're an idiot." And then it was the best thing I ever did. So like I kind of reckon like if you've ever read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I joke all the time. I'm like my parents because they're all masters, very well educated and stuff like this. Like they're like the rich dad, or I mean the poor dad, where they're like very well educated, but like they don't really understand like entrepreneurship or money or like like how to really like blow things up. And then my father-in-law is more like the rich dad, where it's like he's kind of like under the radar, like sneakily, like kind of like doing the right thing. So.
Interesting. Obviously, clearly you were smart. You knew what you were getting into. You knew there was challenges ahead. But what's probably one of the biggest challenges that surprised you, or the biggest lesson that surprised you in the beginning?
No, just trying to like work out of liability, like basically like back ending contracts and like making things as friendly to me as possible where I can still get the sale, which is tricky because you can like I've lost jobs before because people will look at my contract and they'll be like, why am I going to sign this when this other contract has like nothing in it? But I'm okay with that now. Like you have to get to a point where you're okay with that. Like you do this long enough, you're going to get lawsuits. You're going to have to sue people for not paying you. Like there's going to be insurance claims that you try to have to like work out of, and like there's a whole game. Especially me being in South Florida. Like I'm in Miami, my main branch, and that's the lawsuit capital of the world. So like everyone is always trying to sue everyone for nothing. Like literally nothing happens and someone tries to sue you. So it's it's just like constantly trying to like limit liability as much as possible has always been the biggest game changer. And when I got to Perkins Roofing, they didn't even have a logo. So I designed the logo. They didn't have a website. I built the website entirely by myself. Started wrapping trucks and like doing things to grow the business. And then like the contract was one of the biggest things. Like his contract had nothing in it. It was just like, you agree to this contract. Yes or no. And there were zero contract terms. And so like right now I have like 48 contract terms and each one is a lesson. I have a story for each one of those where we got screwed. There's some story behind every single contract term where we got screwed and had to like bite a bullet or like got sued or had to like pay out a ridiculous amount of money for no reason, which could have been easily avoidable just by not having the term in there. And I had to learn all this stuff myself and like write it all up myself. So basically, like everything, every hard lesson I've learned, which is why like my franchising works good because I've figured out how to like not have problems now at this point. Where
Yeah.
like a lot of people they learn the lessons the hard way and then they give up. Like I'm just, the type to keep going and like, nope, we're gonna fix this now and then just keep moving on instead of giving up.
So what does a typical day look like for you now since the business grew?
All right. So now my typical day is I am running my Palm Beach branch. Uh, I'm trying to hire somebody to replace myself basically at this branch at this point in time so that I don't have to do anything. My Miami branch, I don't really do too much. I have my own team that I've trained running that branch, and they're doing upwards of $10 million a year there without me really doing anything except for macro accounting. So like I'll do accounting and like macro accounting and like bookkeeping and stuff and just make sure everything's good there from a money standpoint because I've hired controllers before and then they screw it up. Everyone I know that's hired bookkeepers and controllers for their businesses, someone's always trying to skim money or steal money or they screw something up. And then, like for me, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself. That's like the one thing I'm never going to give up is handling the money at the end of the day, at least the macro accounting. Like little micro stuff, like I'm not gonna, it'd be like, oh, $100 Home Depot purchase and criticize and like dig into $100 Home Depot purchase. But like on big macro accounting items, like I track all my jobs, work in progress calculators, even for like my Miami projects that I don't even step foot on. So like we'll do like $100,000 jobs plus, like $500,000 jobs where I won't even step foot on it. I won't even look at a photo of it. I won't even know. Like I'll just look at the numbers. Like I'll just be like, okay, this job made 50 grand. Cool. Like this is good. And like that's all I'll do. I'll just track the numbers. I let them do their thing down there. I'm not a
Mhm.
micromanager type. Like once we have systems in place and people follow the systems, and as long as things are working, which you see in the numbers. Like if you see something's working or not working, you'll see, okay, did I lose money? Okay, and then something's not working. I'm okay, I made 20% profit on this job and we were projecting 15. That means things are working well. So I don't really need to, stick my toe into this pond right here because things are happening. I don't need to get involved. So usually I'll like start my morning just doing macro accounting. Then usually I'll run out and I do sales, all the sales calls for Palm Beach myself. So like I sell probably, I don't know, I probably sell like 70 or 80% of the jobs that I see that where I meet the person face to face because I actually know what I'm talking about. I actually go on the roof. I actually go in the attic. I explain things and I educate to people. And they like my YouTube channel. They'll check out my YouTube and be like, this guy actually knows his stuff. Like I'll have people that will call me from out of state and they'll be like, hey, I'm hiring you no matter what because I like because I trust you. I've watched your YouTube. Like I know you're no BS and I know that you're going to do a good job. And they look at our reviews. All our reviews are 4.95 stars, whatever, for both my branches. So people trust us and the way that we do advertising is all organic. We don't do PPC or any of that crap. Like I'm only doing organic advertising. So for me, it's about creating content that is educational, that is going to help people, homeowners, make the best decisions for them. And my goal is to be an educator because at the end of the day, like I said, my bachelor's degree is journalism, my master's degree is in education. So I'm here to create content that's going to educate people on the best decisions for them. And then you make the decision at that point in time. I'm not here to stick a roof down your throat that you don't want, right? And roofing and impact windows and a lot of this stuff, consumers don't understand. It's not like a car. You can go and if you're like, anyone, pretty much anyone in America knows the difference between a Camaro and a Mustang, right? Like you're gonna already know. You're gonna know which one you want. Nobody knows the difference between TU Plus and Boral Tile Shield. You know what I mean? Like nobody knows these things. So you have to educate them because this is not common knowledge. This is not something you just grow up knowing or seeing. So these are things that you have to teach people. Or like nobody knows the difference between like X and X thickness of glass with another. So it's like you've got to teach these things to people. And so that's what I do. And that's why people like us and hire us is because we're educating along the way. And, like I'm not here to force something down your throat that you don't want.
Now, on that topic of like organic growth, have you tried any other methods that just didn't live up to the hype?
Well, I mean, like, so I had a job that made like $1 million profit, pretty recently, and we're like, let's just throw 10 grand on pay per click for Facebook and see what happens. And it was a complete waste. So like, that's why I'm like, I don't like pay per click and stuff like that. Like Angie's List is just a scam. That's just a straight up scam. So I don't do any of that. What I do is all, like I said, creating content, YouTube education, and face to face networking. So like I'll do like I'm in networking groups in my locations that we work in. I have like all the people in my company will join networking groups. Everybody in my company can make sales commission, and I have no cap on sales commission. So even if you're just a roof tech, you could be installing shingles. I don't care. If you bring me a client, then I will give you a commission. So anyone in my company is eligible for commissions. I know a lot of people do really weird commission structures, and I've had a lot of people tell me that my commission structures are the best because my commission structures are based on profit. So I pay 10% of profit margin. So whatever my profit is at the end of the job, my salesperson, whoever sold it, gets 10% of that. If they're not getting paid on revenue, because if they sell a job that loses me money, then why the heck am I going to get that money? You know what I mean? So like they're incentivized to sell jobs that are going to make me money, and then I give them a portion of that money. So that's how I structure my commissions. And anyone can make as much as they want. Like I've given out $1 million in commission before. Like anyone can make as much commission as they want. I don't cap it. And anyone in my company can get commissions from the salesperson to my admin. Like my office admin will get commissions all day because when she's not answering the phones, instead of screwing around on her phone because she wants to make money, she'll open up blueprints. We get sent random blueprints all over the place. People are sending me plans all day. So we'll just open up the blueprints and she'll do blueprints and she'll get a job once a month, randomly going through blueprints and then sending bids out. So I teach everybody how to sell in my whole company, and everybody's eligible for commissions.
What do you think was the biggest needle mover decision or project that like took the business to the next level?
There's a lot. I mean, like, you don't see exterior. Like I could say, okay, I did it. I've done like $3 million roofs before. I've done roofs on islands before that you're taking boats to. Like I've got a 10-part YouTube series on a Fisher Island re-roof that we did. That was over a $3 million project, and we had to bring everything over on boats. So if anyone's interested, you can go watch that on YouTube. That's like a pretty intense job we did. So if you want to talk about like logistically, what is a major logistical problem that we dealt with, that is one. Commercial roofing is a completely different ballgame than residential roofing. Like anyone can re-roof residential houses if like it's not a rocket science. It's just following an equation. Whereas like commercial projects are all more like logistic problems, like doing high rises and stuff like that, especially down here in Florida, because a lot of these high rise buildings are on beaches and they're like built on top of parking garages where you can't even put cranes. So like I've done roofs going up and down elevators 40 stories before. I've done roofs with hydraulic hoists. Like I've done everything when it comes to roofing that you can possibly do. But it's so like I would say it's not even like project. Like what is biggest game changer is like what you're gonna do inside the operations. So like a part of that is like developing a system. All right. And I don't mean like developing sales systems. I'm talking about like you need to have an internal system. Like when I got to Perkins Roofing, like I said, there was no logo and stuff like that. And like a lot of the guys when I got to the company were like drug addicts and like they were like bad people in this company. Like I've seen all kinds of crazy stuff happen. People steal trucks, people hit each other with baseball bats, all kinds of stuff. So it's like because it's construction, right? And it's roofing. So it's like when you get into this, like if you want the bottom of the barrel for construction, it's roofing because who wants to be, especially in Florida, who wants to be out in 100-degree weather on a freaking roof in the sun when you're like dying? If you're good at construction, you'd rather be inside doing drywall. You'd rather be inside doing kitchens or bathrooms. So like the guys who are really talented, they go off roofing as quickly as possible. So that's kind of the type of people you're running into. But you have to find good guys and pay them well. So like people all the time to me will be like, you're so expensive, blah, blah, blah. It's, well, if you want a good employee who's going to come to your house and is not going to steal stuff, like all my guys are security background checks. I do work for the government. I do work on Fisher Island. So they all have to get security background checked. So they're all checked. Like if you want someone good who knows what they're doing and it has a clean record, they're going to cost $25 or $30 an hour. Like I'm not going to send over a $15 Home Depot guy to your house because I don't have that. So a big part was like creating a company. Like I got to this company and there was a company in place and I had to completely change the culture. So I created a whole new company culture while I was here, like working with the people that I already had who were bad. And then once I created the culture that I wanted this company to turn into, I wrote a business plan. There was no business plan. I wrote a business plan even in a company that I was already working at, that was already going. So I wrote a business plan as I was working and then created a culture and wrote that into my business plan. And then just had to like, as we kept moving, because we're still winning jobs, we're still going, I just cycled bad people out and brought good people in all at the same time. So it's like a wheel of just like, okay, I have a good person now over here, so I can get rid of this crappy person now. And like basically that was really like what I would say is what changed the company, is like coming to this company and being like, I don't like this culture. but I'm here and I'm going to change it to what I want. So like doing that while the ball is rolling is really tough. Like if you stop and just like clean house and then like start new and bring new people in, that's completely different ball game than like doing it while you're still constantly like juggling jobs at the same time.
How did you instill that company culture into the new guys coming in?
It's just finding people. So like basically like there's a really good book called Traction. Gino Wickman, I think, is the author for it, and he has a system called Entrepreneurial Operating System, EOS. And one of the things that he talks about is having core values. So you need to make sure you have core values. And when I hire now, I test for those core values. Whether that's like, and a lot of times people can trick you into thinking you have core values. So you can't ask if you have questions. You've got to literally like test it out of them, right? Like when I'm hiring, like I'm hiring for this position right now to kind of replace myself. And like what I'm doing with that is I'm like, I literally made these guys, like, I'm like, okay, I've got finalists. I made them write business plans. I'm like, look, if you want this job, you got to write me a business plan. I was like, imagine that we're starting a new location now in Naples, Florida. Uh, Tell me how you're going to acquire new customers. Give me your business plan. Like, I want to, I'm like, I'm testing people at the same time. And I ask, and like part of the thing too is I'll give assignments like, if your uncle dies and leaves you $1 million, what are you going to do with it? Right. When people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna go buy a freaking Bugatti," or like, "I'm gonna buy 10 Rolexes," I'm like, "This person sucks." No, I want the person who's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go build this business. I'm gonna, people who are gonna reinvest the money to, into assets that are gonna bring money back." Those are the types of answers I'm looking for, right? Not like, "Oh, I'm gonna go buy whatever," and like, "I'm gonna buy my wife a diamond necklace or whatever the heck." Like, no, I'm looking for people who think like I do. So that's something that you do as you evolve and you set like you have to really look at yourself and be like, okay, what are the like if I had to define myself in 5 stages, what are like the 5 things that how do I really see myself? And what are the 5 most important aspects of what I'm doing, right? Like I need someone who's a self-starter, right? So like that's a big one for me is like finding self-starters. And then finding people who are honest. Like I never lie. So I'm trying to always find people who are like one of my things I'll be like, oh, hey, if like I'll ask a question like, "Hey, your guy had a leak, blah blah blah, but the owner doesn't know it caused damage. What do you do?" And if they're like, "Oh, don't tell the owner because I don't want to pay out of pocket," I'm like, "I'm not going to hire you now because I know you're a freaking liar." So like those are some of the questions that I ask is like try to, like even though it's like this is going to make you more money, I don't care about the money in aspects. Like I don't want liars in my company. So like those are things that I look for.
I see. Have you ever felt like your business was plateauing? And at what point did you feel that way?
Um, I kind of feel like everyone goes through that. I had growth coming, like I said, I started in like 2013, 2014, and we had consistent growth until COVID. So when 2020 happened, that was the first time that we had a year where we stagnated in regards to growth of revenue and growth of profits. Which is, I mean, like that's an anomaly. So like it's hard to weigh something against that. But then how we rebounded is that's when I started planning the second office, and that's when I like started negotiating with Dean on buying the company from him so that I could kind of do what I wanted because he's my father-in-law, so he's like in his late 60s. Like he's not going to go do aggressive stuff like I wanted to, like starting new branches and franchising and like creating a GC company. Like he was not interested in that because he's thinking, hey, I want to retire someday. I'm not going to like I'm trying to take money now. Like I'm not trying to reinvest. So you gotta find out like if you have a partner or you're working with someone like where are they at? Like if you have partners, like you have to make sure that their head is in the same spot that yours is. So basically I just created growth cycle by like hey, we just had COVID. It's a crappy year. We had to get rid of a bunch of people, change the company up a little bit to counterbalance, change some things, and then created a whole new branch. When you create a new branch and the new branch is successful, you're just going to multiply what you can do. So if you have good systems and you can come into a new location, you're going to multiply by whatever you can do. So like Miami's obviously a bigger city than Palm Beach. So it's like, okay, Palm Beach, I think is like a third of the size of commercial square footage or something is Miami. So it's like, okay, if I can do a third of what I'm doing in Miami in a different location and replicate that and multiply that all around the state of Florida, that's good business right there. Like you can't do that anywhere else. Like you could go into new locations or you can go into new markets, which is why I started the GC. So like we're like already selling roofs. How about we start selling impact windows and doors at the same time? We're already here working on your house. Wouldn't you rather just deal with one contractor instead of two guys? Oh, guess what? We can also paint your house. guess what? We can also, do your bathroom while we're here. Like people like my people. Like I hire good people, good, honest people that communicate well. They show up on time. They're self-starters and they're dependable. Those are the type of people that I hire. So people like us because basically I'm hiring the opposite of most contractors. Most contractors have a bad reputation because they show up whenever they want. Some days they just don't show up. They don't communicate about what they're doing. They don't tell you the plan. They don't tell you what's going on. They just do whatever. And people are like, why am I giving this guy money? Like he hasn't showed up to in 2 days. Like I don't even know where he is. He could be in freaking Mexico. I don't know. So it's like my whole thing is to upend that and be the exact opposite of what most people think contractors are. And so we do that to the T. And so like usually when people hire us, they're going to rehire us and rehire us. Like I've done roofs for people 3, 4, 5 times. I built, multiple buildings for people like investors. Like there's investors that I do work at all their properties. Like I've done work for celebrities. Like we do all that kind of stuff because people like us. And once we're in, they'd rather hire us to do everything. Like there's an HOA that brought me in because they saw one of my videos about metal roofs. I had a YouTube video that said like, "Hey, in Florida now they can't stop you from getting a metal roof. The HOA can't stop you." So they brought me in and they're like, "Hey, can you talk to us about this?" So I talked to the architectural review board for the entire community and convinced them to allow for standing seam metal roofs. And once they did that, I started working in the community. They're like, "Hey, we really like you and we know you do other stuff." Now I'm doing everything in the whole community. I'm fixing their broken sidewalk, and this is a big neighborhood. I'm fixing their broken sidewalks. I'm painting their they have like a pool kids splash pad. Like we're like painting their splash pad. We fixed their gym because some kid like punched a hole in their gym wall. So I do everything at the whole community now because they like us and they trust us and they know that we're going to show up when we say we're going to show up.
How do you think you could get more clients like that?
It's just it's finding a way to get in with the management. For me, once I'm in with someone, I'm in with them. They're never gonna not want me to do their work because, like I said, we're the opposite of most contractors. We're reliable. We show up, we communicate, we tell you what we're doing, we show you photos before, during, after. We're doing everything that most contractors are not doing correctly. So when we're in, we're in. So for me, it's just about getting in front of people. And this is why I like my method of YouTube because those people who are watching YouTube videos, you're not going to watch a YouTube video if you want the cheapest roof or the cheapest windows. You're going to watch that because you want to learn about the product and you want a quality install and you want to make sure that whoever's doing it is not going to screw you over. Like, no, if you just want the cheapest price, you're just going to go out and get 5 bids and you're not going to watch it on YouTube. So the people who find me on YouTube, I already know that they care about quality, and those are the type of customers that I'm after. If you're after me trying to find, I just want the cheapest roof, I'm not going to be the person you hire anyway because we do things the right way. 95% of contractors out there find ways to cut corners to save money on jobs, especially if they realize that they underbid it, they'll cut corners left and right. We don't do that because we already know where we're at going in. Like my price going in, I know how much it costs. Like I did a roof for my friend like 6 months ago and I did it at cost for him. And then when I went back at the end of the job, because I told you I do all the accounting, when I went back and did my post accounting, we did an $80,000 roof for my friend and I was off by $18. That's how exact my accounting was. That's how on point my systems are. That literally I could do an $80,000 roof for somebody and then I made $18 on it. So I always joked with him. I'm like, okay, I did your roof for a 6-pack or whatever. Like, so like, that's how on point my accounting is. That on an $80,000 job, I'm only off by $18 between what I go in on my estimate and what it actually costs at the end of the job.
Amazing, man. Cool. That's funny. Is there any part of your business that feels overwhelming or time consuming? Like maybe the YouTube content, does that feel time consuming for you? What's the most time consuming thing for you, maybe?
No, because I love that. I love creating content. I love building things. So like when I'm building the business and I'm working on the systems and I'm creating content, I love that stuff. I'm a natural salesman, so I love selling. Like I love going out and talking to people and like climbing roofs and stuff like that. Cause like I'm the type of guy like you cannot put me in an office all day. Like when I was a teacher, I was going stir crazy. Like I had like one window. Me as the teacher, I felt like I was in a jail, right? And that's as the teacher. So like I was going stir crazy doing that. I was like, I can't wait for football practice to start because I need to go move. Like I can't just be in this freaking box all day. So I love, moving around, jumping on roofs, doing all that kind of thing, which is why I still do it. Because I could have hired someone to do that stuff long ago, but I like it. But I'm at a point right now where I'm trying to focus now on building the franchise into the business. So I have to basically give that up, even though I love doing it. so that I can spend more time on finding franchisee clients and convincing people that, hey, it's dumb to start a company from scratch with zero resources compared to if you can franchise, because really it is. Someone can come in and take the systems that I've already painstakingly built over the years. I've already learned all the lessons. I've already paid the lawyers for all the stuff. Someone can come in and take these systems, and it costs next to nothing for them to do that. And then they're going to get the branding of a company that's been around since 1980. And you get all my YouTube content to sell for you and my branding. Are you really going to just start something from scratch? Because I had a guy in here earlier today interviewing for me, and he's like, "Hey, look, I'm in a business. We've been around for a year and a half, and he's like, I'm the number two guy at my business, and he's like, I think we're about to go out of business." Because I asked him, I'm like, "Why are you here?" I was like, "What's your deal?" And then he was like telling me, he's like, "I think we're going to go out of business." He's like, "It's hard when you've only been around for a year and a half. Nobody wants to hire you because you have no reputation. You don't have a portfolio of projects that you can show someone, hey, look at all the stuff I've done. You have no brand reputation." It's like, how long have you been in business? 2024. Okay. So what happens if I have a leak? How do I know you're going to honor the warranty? You've only been around for a year. You don't. They're going to go out of business. That's why you hire someone who's been around forever. So that's a part of the franchise benefit that you get in franchising with me. It's like you get to promote that you've been around since 1980. You get to use my YouTube videos as part of your promotion. You get to use my portfolio of projects of working on islands, of working for the government, of doing 40-story high rises. That's all now in your back pocket to sell jobs. If you start something from scratch, you have none of that.
Personal opinion, I just feel like if franchising is becoming a lot more popular now for those reasons you just said, people are realizing how hard it is to really start your own thing from scratch. And yeah, I think that's why franchises are becoming more common now.
Yeah, especially because private equity is buying everybody else. So like it's like here are your choices. You're going to start a new business and you're going to compete against private equity. Like my top competitors have all been purchased within the last 2 years. So it's like in my market, like the top five roofing companies that I'm constantly bidding with, I'm the only one who's still like legit, like from the beginning. Like I mean, I bought it from my father-in-law, but like we're still family owned. Everyone else is sold to private equity. And those people don't know how to run the business. All they're doing is using all the cheapest products because what they're doing is competing on price. That's what they're doing. They're not a value proposition. You're not getting value when you hire those companies. And if you don't do your research as a homeowner or as a property manager, you're not going to know. But a lot of these companies that are very big down in South Florida now have been purchased by private equity groups. And it's hilarious because they hire people that I fired to run their business. Like there's one guy I fired running like a $100 million roofing business right now. And I'm like, that guy sucks so much that I fired him. And now he's running a $100 million roofing gig for this private equity firm because they don't know any better. Like that's a train wreck. Like all these companies they're going to eventually lose a ton of money because what they're doing is they're doing everything on price. They're selling the cheapest roofs out there on price. And all they care about is at the end of the day is they just look at the money, right? They're just looking, are we making money? Because it's all private equity. You don't have someone who's building something. Like me, I'm trying to build something, right? Like me as the owner of Perkins Roofing, I take pride in the roofs that we're doing. I take pride in building a business that has good reviews and in building a reputable brand. Like I'm not here just for money. Like a lot of these private equity groups, what they're doing is they're buying companies in construction space and rolling them up. So they'll buy a roofing company, they'll buy an impact window company, they'll buy a pool company, and they try to roll it up into one service, and then they're going to resell it. And then at the end of the day, in 20 years, when you look back, Marvin, BlackRock or whoever the hell is going to own everything because all these private equity groups, all they're trying to do is roll it up, and then they want to resell it to someone bigger than them. So if you're buying a $100 million roofing company, you're buying a $50 million impact window company, you're buying all these companies, you roll it up, you're not going to sell it for what it's worth. You're going to sell it for way more, and not everyone can afford that. So it's going to go into these giant corporations, and you're going to have monopolies that run basically all this stuff. I'm sad to say, but like my type of business, like it's hard. And to start against a private equity branch that has a ton of funding and can just pump PPC, you're never going to get started. The only reason I'm doing as well as I am right now is because I have such a good backbone of organic content. If I didn't have my YouTube channel, if I didn't have our branding of being around for so long and having the clients that we already have in place and being able to look back and say, hey, look at my YouTube. We've done this type of job before and having that kind of thing. Like I would be screwed if I was starting this business from fresh right now because this market is not good for people just starting a business because private equity is going to outcompete you. If you're just if you're trying to say, "Hey, I'm a good marketer. I know how to target market and we're going to pay per click. And I'm going to find people from pay per click." You're going to lose because private equity has more money than you.
What's Tim's strategy to combat and compete against them?
My strategy is I don't care what they do, because I am completely different. I don't advertise the same way they do, and I'm not providing the same thing that they are. I'm providing a completely different value proposition. I'm not providing a commodity. I'm providing a service that has much more value than anything else that anybody on the market can offer. I'm providing you the ability to have one contractor do everything that you want to do in your entire home. And we're going to show up on time and we're going to do a great job. And we have the reviews that back it up and we're honorable and we stand by our word. Been around since 1980. I don't run away from things. We have insurance claims or lawsuits that come our way. Usually we get out of it because we just fix it. We have a problem, okay, we fix it. We're all human. So we all have issues every now and then. A couple months ago, I had a leak in a client's house that I was doing. And I said, you know what? I'm sorry about this. We're going to fix it. And on top of it, we did a bunch of free stuff for him to make up for it. We're like, sorry for this problem. Like, hey, your fence could be repainted. How about we repaint it for you for free, right? Since we screwed up and you had a leak in your house and you had to deal with a drywall issue in your house. So, like, that's what we do. Nobody else is providing the value that we do. We communicate with our customers and tell them everything that's happening at all times. We send them photos of what's going on. They see everything that's happening. And we're providing education along the way. Nobody else is educating the way that I am. I'm teaching you the different products and telling you why product A is better than product B and why I recommend product A versus product B. I'm not just here saying, hey, here's your roof, here's your price. I'm giving you options on what is best for you so you can decide what is best for the home that you want. So it's just a completely different ball game. We're not doing what everybody else is doing.
How do you measure success? Like, is there any metrics that you pay attention to the most?
Yeah. So it's kind of funny because like when I was doing my franchise stuff, I had to look at like I had to do like balance sheets and like I had to do profit and loss sheets and all this stuff. And I was like, I never really look at it from that perspective of like macro. I'm looking at things on a job to job level. So like I develop my own work in progress calculators. So we know where we're at on any point in the job if we're going to make money or losing money based on the cash flow that's come in so far. So we do our own work in progress. And generally that's how we track if we're being successful or not, is checking on our jobs. And I check to make sure that we're making money on each job on a job level. So that's how financially we see things. But a lot of times you can just tell how things are going to be by, is the phone ringing, right? Like are our schedule, how busy are our schedules? Do we feel busy? Yes. But that's all on like a job. That's like a surface job level, project level, right? Because that's not the only thing that I'm doing since I'm also franchising is like I've got to find people who want to do this. And it's really difficult to find people who actually want to go out and grind and who can do it. So like that's why I recommend if you're a grinder and you're like, okay, I don't want a boss and I know I can sell, I know I can market, I know I can kick butt. I don't know anything about roofing. I'm like, come to me. I will teach you roofing. You can come my way. And as long as you are motivated to succeed, then you're gonna do it. It's all about what you want to do. If you have enough motivation to do it, you can do it, right? Like it's all about self-motivation. So like, for instance, like the whole franchise thing. Like you know how many people told me you can't do that? They're like, oh, you're gonna have a franchise, you're not gonna be successful. You can't do that. Like I'm just making it happen. If you really want it that bad, you can do it. And so like for the people out there who don't want a boss and they feel stuck, like it's really easy to go out and get an SBA loan. You can go get government money. Like you don't need money. You say, "Oh, Tim, I don't have 100 grand to get started." Go get an SBA loan and come try. And guess what? If you fail, even if you fail, it's an SBA loan. That's forgivable. You can declare bankruptcy and it goes away. So it's not like student loans. It's like, would you rather do that and try something for a few years and see if it works, or would you like? I don't know. That's why I tell people that, like, college right now, like really, like you're way better off getting an SBA loan and starting a business than going to college and spending the money on a college tuition at this point in time. It's like you're going to be in debt 100 grand. You're better off being in debt 100 grand on building a business than going to college and just partying the whole time. Then it's a waste of money and your degree is worthless. And then you've got to work off the student loan debt. It's like that's no fun. So,
If you had to restart your career and not go into school, would you still do that?
for like I said, I started this off by telling you I had 5 kids. I'm going to recommend that they don't go to school. I'm going to recommend that they do something besides going to college unless they want to be a doctor or a lawyer, unless they get into Harvard or something like that. It's not worth it. And even the Ivy League schools, it's not even worth it for the education. It's only worth it for the networking. Like that's the only reason to go. If you get into an Ivy League school, then like God bless, because you're going to be in like one of the best networking markets. Like people, you're always going to have fallbacks on that. But if you don't go to Ivy League, if you're going to state school, like it's not worth the money. Don't go to a state school. Like it's not worth it. Um, you're way better off just starting a business or like learning a trade, becoming an electrician. Like electricians make bank, plumbers make bank, roofers we make bank. Like we make good money. So it's like, why are you going to do that when you have to go to school and lose money for 4 years? It's like going to college is just all about partying. Like, is there anything that I really learned in college that really matters? Not much. Like everything I've learned is like post. It's like what I learned while doing this crap. It's not being. I didn't learn anything in college that really helps me, except for like when I was in journalism school, I learned about the rule of thirds. It's like, okay, so I can shoot video. I could have learned that in one day. I didn't need to pay 100 grand for that. So it's like, no, I don't think college is worth it. And if I could go back in time, I would do the same thing because who knows? Like if I could say no, I wouldn't go back to college. But then like who knows what track I would have been on? You know what I mean? So it's like I would never go back and change anything because I love my life, so I would never do that. But I would recommend to people who are trying to decide if they want to go to college or go to like a vocational school or like learn a lot to become an electrician and become an apprentice or something like that. No, go to trade school. You'll make way more money. You'll move around. Your body will be moving. Your body will love it because you're not sitting all day and you'll be moving around. It's better for you physically, mentally, and financially to just go work.
What part of your business, if any, do you feel like the process is outdated or
Hmm.
inefficient?
I don't, we're really good about staying on top of stuff. I guess I would say that like ideally, what I could do, the most inefficient thing is that I'm using so many different systems for stuff. Like I have like multiple CRMs, like billing systems and stuff like that. And it's like I would just love to combine it all. I talked to Salesforce one time about doing that, but it's so expensive. Like they couldn't even give me a price. I was like, "Hey, I want to build one custom system with all this crap." And they're like, "Okay, it starts at 250 grand and that's for 200 hours of work." And I was like, okay, so are you going to finish everything I want in 200 hours? They're like, we don't know. Or like, it's going to be 250 grand. And then it's basically open ended. So like, if it takes more than the 200 hours, then it's another 250 an hour or whatever it is until it's done. And it's like, okay, so I can spend 250 grand and then get a half completed system that doesn't even have all the stuff I want. And then here I am just paying you in perpetuity forever because I'm already halfway in. It's like, I can't get out now. And I'm just like, it sounds like a trap to me. You know what I mean? It sounds like a black hole to me. Like I'm not gonna jump into that. So like I guess like the thing is that's inefficient is like I use Notify for a CRM. I have QuickBooks for an accounting service. I've got high level for leads Fountain. So like I've got company cam for photos that we and reports and stuff like that. I use RoofR for satellite imaging. I have a truck tracker that's a completely different system. It's like I would love to just mash all that crap into one thing, but I feel like I have the best system of each of the things that I need. So it all works, but it just sucks to have like 20 tabs open all the time on my Chrome window. It's like the main thing, I guess I would say. But besides that, like we're pretty efficient in regards to communication, which is like the biggest thing when it comes to contracting. It's like if you communicate with your clients well, then people are going to be happy. As long as you maintain communication, even if it's a rain day. Like if it rains in the morning, I tell my people, like, just text the client and be like, hey, we're not going to be there today because it's raining. It's that simple. And then they say, okay, cool. Like, then they know that you're not going to be there. But to not show up and just assume that they're going to know, oh, it's raining, they're not going to show up, that pisses people off. It's like, it takes a
Yeah.
simple text, 10 seconds to say, hey, it's raining. We'll see you tomorrow.
What exactly would you be looking for in like out of all these softwares to what is it, data? Is that what it is? Like a central hub for the data for it?
It's more just like ease of utility because, like I said, like right now, like if I showed you my computer screen, I've got like my main work window has like 20 different Chrome tabs open because they're all different, completely different systems. So like just to have one hub where everything's on one system probably is more efficient. And probably data wise for like Chrome, it probably is more efficient. I'm sure like my computers would run faster and stuff like that if we didn't have a million tabs open. So yeah. And then also, I guess like it would be cool to have just like one branded thing. Like I thought about it. Like when you work with Salesforce, you can develop your own app, right? And then like, so I could have my own app. It would be its own thing. It'd be named Perkins Hub or whatever, like whatever I wanted to name it. And then like it has all your branding and all that stuff. So like it just makes things more convenient, but it's just a matter of conveniency. Like how much time do I waste going from tab to tab? Not much, like a millisecond for each thing. Like, but like it's not an end all be all, but like it would be nice to have like one giant thing that has everything I want on it. So it's like if I could get all those services to combine into one thing, like company cam and stuff like that, even though I was just talking crap about these megalith corporations that buy everybody out, it's like, okay, maybe someone in the tech service can just buy all that and make one thing.
So I wonder how you're going to answer this next question after saying that. If you had a magic wand to instantly improve one part of your business, what would it be?
Infinite leads forever. So the hardest thing that I run into in my trade is finding good valid leads who basically are like want the services that we're offering. We run into a lot of time wasting, especially in roofing, because we're not AC. For whatever reason, AC mechanics are allowed to charge you for an estimate. Uh, any HVAC person, they say, okay, it's $99 for us to come out. And then if we do a repair, we'll discount you the $99. I tried that for roofing one time, and then everyone was like, screw you. And then, like, don't come out because nobody else is charging for estimates. I'm like, okay. So I don't know. We need like a roofing mafia to get together and we all decide, like the five fathers or whatever, we all decide that, okay, we're going to start charging $99 an estimate or something now.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
got to start
that,
somewhere.
yeah, I mean, I don't know how the AC guys did it. Maybe that's how it started as mafia. I don't really know. But they all make money for estimates. We don't make money for estimates. So like the worst thing is like when a realtor calls us and we go out on the roof, and then like the realtor's like, I just need a price for my client because they're in negotiations to buy this house and they want to know how much money it's going to cost for the roof. And it's like,
Mm.
well, can't you just buy the house first and then call me? Or like that's why like on my website I created a free tool. So like I try to tell people I'm like just go on my website. I built a custom algorithm that's on my main page for my website. Or if you go in there, you can type your address in, and then we'll automatically give you a ballpark quote for shingle roof, tile roof, metal roof, flat roof, whatever. All you got to do is give me your email, and you get all that for free. So I mean, I designed that literally to stop these realtors so they don't waste so much of my time because it sucks to have to drive somewhere. We're driving, we're wasting gas. We waste 30 minutes on the roof. We talk to them. We realize they're never going to hire us because all they're trying to do is get a price so that they have leverage in their negotiation to buy or sell the house.
See.
Right. So like there's a lot of time wasting and like it would be nice to have only valid leads and like a lot of good leads. But mostly leads are a big thing because there are a lot of bad leads out there and it's like phone call leads are the best, people who actually call. When you're chasing jobs, it's tough. Like trying to chase blueprint jobs and stuff like that. It's not really where I want to be because 30 people, 40 people are bidding those jobs. And a lot of those jobs are all based on price and they don't understand value. So it's like just getting value leads, on like a recurring thing would be ooh, magic wand. Give me a million leads.
Do you plan on doubling down with your education side of content creating? Since it seems like it's like the driving, besides, time in the game, it seems like it's the driving avenue for your revenue.
Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time. I try to release one video a week, one new video a week. So I spend a lot of time on it. And then I've got a marketing team that comes back and I do long form videos. Like I've got some videos that are like 2 hours long, literally like step by step. You can watch a video and learn how to do a tile roof. And there are a ton of roofers in my market that watch my videos and that's how they learn. It's hilarious. I have engineers call me and ask me how to do things. I have other roofers in my market paying me to consult for them right now. So, and I've got like when I go to trade shows and stuff like that, everybody knows me from the YouTube because all the roofers are watching my stuff to learn how to actually roof correctly, which is kind of interesting because I'm like training other people's roofers for them. But I don't really care. Like to me, like I don't really care about making money on the YouTube channel as much as I care about using it as a source to boost our reputation and brand. Like I'd rather make the money on the jobs than on the YouTube channel, I guess is what I would say. So that's kind of where I'm at. I do have a really good idea for an app for homeowners for roofing, but I need a tech person. I'm trying to find a tech person to develop said app, and I need an engineer to come on board. But I need a tech person and an engineer for code stuff. And I have a really good idea for an app that could be used all around the world for roofing for homeowners to make it much easier for them. But that's all I'm going to say on that because I don't have a patent on it.
Got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see your business a year from now? And what would that mean if you were to hit that goal? What would that mean to you?
All right. So this is something I'm constantly looking at. As I mentioned, traction before in EOS. In my company, we have quarterly meetings with our like upper tier management people, whatever, and we all talk about 1 year goals. We talk about rocks, like quarter rocks. We talk about 3 year goals, 5 year goals, stuff like that. Um, we're realistic, right? When I franchised, I had maybe my franchise attorney asked me, he was like, "How many franchises would you like to get in a year? Like 17, 18, 20?" I'm like, "Look, man," I was like, "To be honest with you, I'll be cool if I get one a year." Like I'm not gonna make up some theory in my head that I'm gonna be McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like roofing is a very high stakes, high liability trade, but it's also big ticket. You can make a ton of money because your average roof I'm doing is probably a $50,000, $60,000 roof. So it doesn't take a lot of those. You know, you sell two of those a month. You sell two roofs a month, you're doing well over $1 million a year. Uh, so, you don't need to sell a lot of roofs to make it work. Big ticket item. And based on that, like I think that if I got one franchisee a year, I would be happy because I've already cut up the state of Florida into different territories. And so like I'm trying to fill Florida first. Like I'll if someone calls me from Texas and they want a franchise, I'll do it. But like I'm trying to fill Florida first because I'm like it's a snowball effect, right? The more markets you get into, people move around the state, you get billboards and stuff like that. You got local ads that can play. Then you can start spending some money on some advertising once you grow everything a decent amount. So like I'm trying to grow all over Florida first really is the goal, but that's where I see success is duplication of what I already have. Not really financial. I don't really care about like to be honest, like I don't even really care about my money that I'm making right now on the roofs that I'm doing. I'm just trying to grow physically look in different locations. Like that's my measure of success right now is how many locations do I have, not how much money am I making.
Now, what's one thing you hope to be better at in the next 12 months? You personally.
Probably I would say life work balance. I spend way too much time on my companies. So like I mentioned, I've got a lot of companies. I guess I got a lot of coals in the fire. It's a lot to manage, a lot of people who rely on me. So for me, it's more like trying to find good work-life balance, which is one of the other reasons I'm trying to hire to replace myself, is so I can actually like spend time with my kids. Um, because I've got 5 kids, they're all 5 and under, and I don't want them to grow up and be like, "Oh, dad was not present." You know what I mean? Like, so I want to be a part of their lives. I want to like we homeschool, so I want to help homeschool them. Like I want to be a part of their life, be a big part of their life, teach them that kind of thing. So like, go do things with them. Like I don't even think I've left the state of Florida in like 5 years because I'm so busy working all the time. And if I leave, then that's when bad things happen. So I feel like I could never go on vacation. I can like never go do anything because I've got just so much going on. And it's my own fault, right? Because like every time I get bored, instead of like going on a trip, I start a new company. So it's like it's my own fault for starting all these businesses. But it's a good thing. But I would say that like trying to figure out better work-life balance would be like my number one personal goal.
What do you think it's the single biggest challenge that's getting in the way
Or
of both of your goals? Either of the goals?
the challenge for me in finding personal time is just hiring the right person because, like I said, when I hire, I'm trying to hire based on core values and attitude. I don't really care about like how much roofing experience you've had. We got a guy come in the other day. He had like 20 years of roofing experience, but it's like, okay, cool. Um, but like I could tell he's been at like 5 or 6 roofing companies, and it's like I could tell it's like you're here to collect a check, an hourly check. You know what I mean? Like you're here to make your weekly pay. Like that's not what I want. I want someone here who wants to come in and they say, I want to be the next Tim. That's what I want. I'm trying to look for someone who has that twinkle in their eye of ambition and they want to do what I do. They want to be me. Like I don't want someone to just come in and collect a paycheck. I want people that want to grow in the company. Like that every time I hire, I'm trying to find out like is this person, can they grow in the company? Do they have the mindset to advance? Before we started recording, you had asked me about my Miami branch manager, Marco. I hired him back when he was like 18 or something, and he had no roofing experience. He had drywall experience and like interior renovation experience, and I hired him as a kid and it's funny, Dean Perkins, the owner at the time, gave me a bunch of crap when I hired him because he's like, you're going to pay this guy who has no roofing experience. And this is like 10 years ago, right? So like $18 an hour is actually a decent salary back then, or decent hourly pay back then. And he's like, you're going to pay this kid who has no roofing experience $18 an hour? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, this kid wants to work. He wants to grow. Like, he's not going to just be doing roof repairs forever. This is a kid who wants to grow in the company. He's smart. I'm like, just trust me. And for weeks, he's like, I can't believe you're paying this guy. He's just a helper, $18 an hour, blah, blah, blah. Like, literally for weeks, I got that. Well, guess what? Marco worked his way up from doing roof repairs in a few months to becoming a sales associate. I trained him in sales. After that, when the sales manager left, I promoted him to be the sales manager. After that, when my operations manager left, I promoted him to being the operations manager. After that, when I decided I'm going to make my own new branch in Palm Beach, I trained him to be my branch manager in Miami, and now he's running that entire operation with very minimal oversight by me. I don't do anything, like I said, except for like macro accounting. So it's like that's all based on me hiring a kid who I could tell had a killer mentality that wanted to grow. And I was like, I'm not okay with just being a roofer or a drywall guy or whatever. Like, I want to be a business owner. Like, that's the type of people I'm looking for because I want people who are going to grow in the company. Ideally, everyone that works for me would eventually own their own franchise. Like, that's my dream. If every single person that ever worked for me, from working on the roof up owning a Perkins Roofing franchise, I'll die a happy man.
Are there any trends or opportunities that you see coming in the industry that you want to capitalize on?
Oh, totally. Metal. A lot of people suck at doing metal roofs. A lot of big people that I know that I'm competing against. I'm not going to name names, but a lot of my main competitors, they subcontract metal roofing out because they don't know how to do it, so they just sub it out. So people suck at doing metal roofs, and by 2030, 40% of roofs in Florida are expected to be metal. So big time opportunity in metal roofs,
How
especially because
come?
people don't know how to do it because it's hard. How come? Because hurricanes. So a standing seam metal roof is an upwards of 200 plus miles. It all depends on the panel. All the panels have different NOAs, but the panels I use are 215 mile per hour rated. Tile caps at about 160 miles an hour. Shingles cap at about 130 miles an hour. 130 miles an hour is barely even a Cat 3 hurricane. So if you get a Cat 3, Cat 4, Cat 5, you're toast unless you got a metal roof.
I see. Okay.
And a metal roof is also like a 50-year roof. Here in Florida, great advertisement for my franchise right here. Here in Florida, a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people moved here during COVID, and then they didn't understand how the insurance in Florida works, and they got screwed. Now they're trying to move away. But here in Florida, you cannot have a mortgage unless you have windstorm insurance on your home. So you have to pay for windstorm insurance. And windstorm insurance makes you put a new roof on every 20 years, even if your roof has no problem whatsoever. So it's recycling money all the time. You want a mortgage? Okay. Well, your roof is 18 years old. You got to put a new roof in 10 years, even though you have zero leaks. So it's a great market for a roofer to be here in Florida. That and the hurricanes is great money. It's talk about cyclical. It's not really cyclical here because there's always something happening. Now the other upswing is this has been the slowest year in roofing since 2015. So it's literally been slower this year than the COVID year, which is silly to think of, but it's true. And that is because the interest rates are so high. So basically, the only people doing roofs right now are the people who have cash to pay for it. So once interest rates go down, then people are going to be, opening up work, and we'll see a lot more construction work going on because last year was probably the busiest year, and then this year has just been toast because the interest rates went up way too much.
Yeah, I just found out about that whole roofing stuff, like everything you need to have, the insurance and all that stuff recently. My parents bought a house there in Florida a year ago, and they didn't know about it either, and a whole lot of surprises for them.
Yeah, things don't last as long either. You got to realize, even if you're not on the water, salt travels through the air.
That's
Like
another one, yeah.
Like my house is like 15 or 20 miles from the beach, and every weekend I throw that pool robot in my pool, and it gets a whole freaking bucket of sand. 20 miles from the beach, it blows in the air. So it doesn't matter how far you are. That salt's going to blow and things are going to corrode.
Yeah. What advice would you give to somebody just starting out in your field?
Besides the franchise with me, no.
Besides
Uh,
that,
yeah. I would say that keep at it. Work hard. It's all about mentality. You're gonna fail. Expect failure. It's just a part of it. As long as you're successful 80% of the time, you can take 20% failure. If you're failing like 40% of the time now, no, you're probably gonna go out of business. But 80/20 principle applies to success rates when you're starting out. Like me now, my teams are success rate is probably like 99%, where we only have an issue on like 1 out of 100 jobs. But like there's always going to be a failure rate. And when you're first starting out, 80/20 is pretty acceptable, I would say. So just know that you're going to fail, be ready to grind. And instead of letting failures destroy you, learn from your mistakes and figure out how you can avoid it the next time. Just like how I did with my contract terms. Like I said, every single term in my contract there's a story behind. Something bad happened. There's a hole in my contract that we didn't realize. Crap, we need something for isonine on roofs for people that have spray foam insulation in their attics. We need something for open beam ceilings. If someone has an open beam ceiling and they don't tell us about it, they don't let us in the house, and then we nail through it with 1.25 inch nails when they only have an inch, 1x6s, and all of a sudden now you got nails all nailed through their open beam ceiling because they never told us about it. Like that's why I have a disclosure now in my contract that says that if you have an open beam ceiling and you did not let us inside your house, you must disclose this to us prior to work start. So then if they don't tell us and it happens, and we're like, well, you never told me, so it's your fault. So read your contract.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
One last question for you, Tim. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Hit me.
When you think about where you want to be in the next few years, what kind of support or tool do you wish existed to help you get there faster?
It's a niche thing. The issue that I'm having with growth right now is this whole franchise brokerage consultant scam. It's a pyramid scheme. It's literally a giant pyramid scheme. Basically, the way that franchising works is they want you to sign up $10,000 just to get on their list and to get a list of consultants, right? And these are just business brokers are these consultants. And then each of these companies has like 100 different business brokers or whatever that work for them. After you're on the list, then you have access to them and you have to wine and dine each and every single one for them to understand your brand and to start promoting your brand. And even after you wine and dine them, you have to make sure that they're out promoting your brand and constantly be on top of them. So basically, you have to pay for a service just to access the brokers to then try to market for you with no guarantee of success. The whole franchise system is broken. Like all these people love it because they're making money for nothing. Like these services, like FranServe and all these services, they get paid by you regardless whether or not you get franchises or not. Um, Ideally, there would be a better franchise system, like an app or a website, where every available franchise is on there. And then to post it, it's just a fee, like a simple fee. Okay, you sell a franchise because of us, because it came from us. You get $5,000 or whatever it is. Something that allows for franchises to be publicly available without because it's basically like they won't promote you unless you pay them money. And then there's like 10 of these things. So you got to pay them each like 10 grand a year just to get listed on their thing. And then there's no guarantee of success rate. So for me, like when I'm buying something, like that's why I hate pay-per-click. There's no guarantee of success rate. I want to make sure that the money that I'm putting in has a guaranteed success. Like I will pay someone whatever commission you want, more or less, if there's a guaranteed success rate, right? I will pay you whatever if something turns into something. If my money is actually going to give me what I want, then I will pay for it. But if there's no guarantee that I'm going to pay for something and I might not get it, like it's dumb. It's like you don't go to Apple Store and pay $1,000 and say maybe I'll get a computer, maybe I won't. Like that's not how the rest of the real world works. Like that's not the rest of the market for like purchasing an item. When I purchase something, I want to get what I'm paying for. I don't want to maybe get it, maybe not get it. So the franchising system is something since I've been working on this like the last year and a half doing this FDD. I never realized until after I finished paying all this money developing my whole franchise system that's paying all the money to get all that done and the legal paperwork is the easy part. The hard part is now going out and figuring out this broken franchise consulting system because it's a scam. Self-promoting is the only way that I can avoid that.
Tim, I appreciate your time here today. How can people connect with you or learn about your business?
Oh, you can find us on YouTube, Perkins Roofing. Like I said, we've got a big YouTube channel, tons of videos, tons of content. Basically, could answer any question that you would ask. I've got people from Africa to Australia to whatever watching my YouTube videos, asking me questions. I got tons of people watch my YouTube channel. So check out the YouTube Perkins Roofing. You can find us perkinsroofing.net if you're looking, not perkinsroofing.com. It's perkinsroofing.net if you're looking for the website and you want to find that free tool for if you want a quote and just like I said, it's ballpark quote. It'll give you a range of X amount to X amount. That all depends on upgrade options, like what type of tile or shingle or whatever you're gonna put. So it gives you a nice little range for budgetary purposes that you can use. And if you want to connect with me directly, you can email me tim@perkinsroofing.net. So feel free to email me if you're interested in franchising, if you have questions, if you're, doing this or that. I do consulting too on the side for other roofers. So I'm here for you if you need me.
Tim, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today.
Thanks, Marvin.